Well, today we're going to be going into that great faith hall of fame. It's been called Hebrews chapter 11. And before I start in that chapter, I wanted to give you kind of an overview and where it fits in the book and give you some guidance on as you read through this. Um, One of the things that he's doing here is he's been talking about being faithful and being consistent in that faith. And he's provided us reasons and methods on how to do that. We've talked about that in the last two sessions, four different things he's given us. Now he gives us a fifth, I think a fifth thing, which is really important, and I think we neglect, and that's the importance of good examples. Good examples. Learn a lot from examples. You probably remember even teachers from grammar school and middle school and high school who had a definitive impact on you. I remember teachers in my past that had really inspired me and corrected me and directed me. So they're important. And it's good to have those experiences and good to have those examples in your background. What the writer of Hebrews is doing here now is he is encouraging the people to stand firm, to not go back to Judaism by going through a list of several, I'll give you the number next time, but several people who are examples, exemplary people of faith. He'll start in verses 1 through 3 by first talking about what faith is, a hot topic, and we'll dive into that. And then starting in verse 4, he starts going through a list from Israel's history. And he starts from the book of Genesis and goes through the prophets, just recounting incidents of faithfulness among these men and sometimes women as well, who are exemplary and people we should have in front of us, people we should keep in mind. You know, the Old Testament is often neglected. Some would even say we don't need it anymore. I disagree with that for sure. But the Old Testament is full of examples for us, positive and negative. Positive examples of people who stood firm in difficult times, negative examples of unfaithfulness and what happens when unfaithfulness rules and reigns. God doesn't let that go by. So that's what we see here. So I'd encourage you to just read through the book, through the chapter, one time at least before we get into the details. And also I'd encourage you to look in your own life for examples that are good for you. One way is to find biography, Christian biographies of faithful men and women who have stood firm with the Lord, who have faithfully served him their whole lives. I pray that I'll give you a list that I've working my way through, or a list that I've read so far this year, but suffice it to say that I have a bunch of old dead men and women who are my friends, who are examples for me. They range from William Perkins, kind of the beginning of the Puritan movement to England, to Henrietta Mears, a remarkable woman and Bible teacher. Lots of people in between, and I'll list those for you. But I'd encourage you to make it part of your spiritual practice, to look and read about faithful men and women and let them inspire you. Also look in your own lives. Sometimes we get short-sighted. There's people in our lives who are exemplary. They're not perfect by any means. As you read these biographies, or at least I read biographies, I find that they are flawed people who God uses anyway, which I find very encouraging. I don't know about you, but I'd encourage you to look in your own life for examples that you can follow, people that have perhaps some aspect of faith that would be a great example for you and necessary for you. So I'd encourage you to do that. Let me close by just saying examples are important. The Lord has given a whole chapter in his word to call examples before us. And we see a whole Old Testament filled with things and people that we can learn from and emulate, or learn from and avoid their fallenness. So I encourage you, again, as we get ready for chapter 11, read through it once, reflect on the ones that are mentioned here specifically. Look for Christian biographies of faithful men and women, and look in your own life for examples that are near at hand, and don't discount them because they may have some flaws. So God bless you. I hope this is helpful for you. And next time we'll start looking a little bit more closely at Hebrews chapter 11 and what God has put in there for us as examples to follow. So God bless you.